Hey guys, it's Matt here, and today I'm bringing you another episode of Matt Rants. And before we get into the episode itself, before we talk about the topic of this episode, I want to mention that I was trying to only do one per week, and I told you guys that at the in the beginning of the last Matt Rants that I did, and then some more news popped up. So all of a sudden, I'm doing 2 a week this week and probably next week as well. So looking at today's Matt Rants, the question that I'm asking is GameStop in trouble? So is GameStop in trouble? So if some of you guys don't know, some interesting news came up just this past week. The current CEO, or the former now CEO of GameStop, left. His name is Michael K. Mahler, who left after only 3 months being the CEO. So recently, he was promoted to CEO, and then only after 3 months, he left, which according to him, he left due to quote unquote personal reasons. He nor GameStop gave an official reason. I hope everything's okay on his end. But before I talk about whether or not I think GameStop is in trouble, I want to keep on going here because we don't just have Michael K. Mahler to look at. We also have Daniel A. DeMatteo, who is the executive chairman of the board of directors, and he's been with GameStop for a very long time, and he will become the interim CEO yet again. I say yet again because even before that, so even before Michael K. Mahler was made the current, or now again the former CEO, I guess, J. Paul Raines left in 2017 due to health reasons. Sadly, he passed away in March. So his health concerns, his health reasons, they were clearly well-founded. And, I want to extend my condolences to the family. Did not know him well, but still, it is really rough to leave due to something like health concerns and then to have that actually play out the way he and his family may have thought it was going to play out. So my condolences to them. We won't really be talking about J. Paul Raines because, again, I understand why he left, so he doesn't really add on, into this idea of whether or not GameStop is in trouble or not. But the thing with, first off, I would like to mention, before we even go on to talking about the sales, because GameStop was talking about their recent sales, both, I think, going into this year from last year and also in the remaining 2018, I want to mention that GameStop, unless Daniel A. DeMatteo doesn't actually want to be the CEO, just make the guy the CEO. He's clearly doing the job. I know some people would say that, as someone who's on the, as a chairman and on, the executive chairman is on the board of directors, I'm sure people are going to say that he's making a lot of money, but I don't know if he's making CEO money. So I'm just saying, if he's doing the job of an interim CEO, if that, takes on the full responsibilities of CEO, or at least certain responsibilities, and then doing his own job as well, I would say personally, I don't know how much work he actually is doing. I don't know what it takes to be a CEO or a CEO of GameStop. I imagine to be a CEO at GameStop, you have to make sure that your employees don't check retro games before they get them in. I don't know. But I don't know what the actual, that was a burn. But but seriously, I don't know what the CEO's job consists of. But if he's doing the CEO job twice now at this point, being an interim CEO again, I don't know how common this is. But still, I feel like he should be getting, I think he should get the position if he wants the position. That's just me though. But still, looking at the sales report here, the sales report is going up from last year. This was reported in March of 2018. But however, 2018 in general, so I assume the rest of 2018, the sales reports should be flat, i.e. we did not make money, or down. So that, of course, would make someone think, well, so is that why, Mahler left? I mean, why did Mahler leave? He said personal reasons. I would hope it's not something just like the former CEO, Mr. Raines left for. So I hope that's not what it is, but it's still a little odd that Mahler would just leave out of nowhere after 3 months. And I also would like to mention, if some of you don't know, Mahler was at GameStop for 16 years. So his resignation was a shocker to pretty much anyone in the company. Maybe there were some higher ups that know what's going on, but a lot of people in the company, he's been there for 16 years. That's a lot of years, people. So to have him just kind of leave like this out of nowhere, to some people, they think that the writing might be on the wall. That's like speculation. A lot of people are speculating online. A lot of YouTubers are like, oh, GameStop's done. GameStop's finished. Writing's on the wall. I don't know. Who owns stock in GameStop. Do you do, fellow gamer? I don't know if you do. But, oh no, GameStop, it's going under. My take on it might be a little bit different. do I think GameStop is in trouble based off of this specific news in terms of, oh no, the CEO left? Is GameStop in trouble? No. I don't think that the CEO leaving directly means that GameStop is in trouble. I mean, at the very least, if you want to say, well, what about those sales? Yes, you could say the sales are, but that's a part of the story. The main crux of it that I've seen a lot of people discuss and really kind of go into here isn't so much the sales numbers and the fact that just last year GameStop closed 100+ stores. I don't think it's that. I think it's like that's not what people have been talking about. People have really been focusing on. I mean, some people talked about that when the news came out last year, but now people are really focusing on the idea that the CEO left. That means that the sky is falling and everything is crashing down around GameStop. Now, I just don't feel like the CEO leaving directly means one-to-one that GameStop is shutting down. Now, if you told me, but Matt, what about Amazon? Oh no, they're going to be the death of GameStop. Don't you don't think I'm saying that GameStop will weather that storm. Amazon may actually destroy GameStop. But if we're talking about, the CEO clearly shows that everything is blowing up and everything's, getting destroyed in the background. These stores that are open now are going to get closed too, and this is going to go the way of Toys R Us. I don't think it is just yet. And the reason why I want to say this is because, first off, GameStop, as far as I know, doesn't have the amount of debt that Toys R Us had that was saddled on the people that actually owned Toys R Us, that saddled them with it. So, and I talked about that in a different Matt Rants, so you can get that whole story there. But when it comes to this situation with the CEO, I truly believe that in this situation, it was just personal reasons. Because why would someone who's been with GameStop for 16 years, unless he could really get such a good deal elsewhere, or if the company goes under, it would look bad on him, more so than the fact that, the sales were going down before he became CEO. He's been CEO for only 3 months. Unless he fucked up, unless he bungled this that horribly, where he just, he was like, Nintendo Switches, they make great hats. Unless he fucked it up that royally, where he was like, I don't think I understand what we're doing here as a company. Granted, he's been doing this with them for 16 years. I think he understands what a video game is. So it's not like he's coming into this completely cold. So, unless maybe he disagreed with the way the company was going, but at the same time, I think if GameStop does survive, which I'm not saying that they're going to, I know I just said Amazon would probably be the death of them, but frankly, if they do try to restructure, of course, GameStop is in their name, so I don't know what they would restructure as, potentially changing their name, maybe changing their brand, and if they are going to do that, which is, I'm assuming, right, I'm just hypothesizing, that might be what they do to try to keep the company going, because Amazon is just killing them in terms of video game distribution. And then, of course, other companies are, having their special releases, and then we're getting retro games, which aren't, like, taking a huge amount of sales away, but still, like, you have retro games coming in as well, and then, recently, I was going to talk about this as well on a separate episode of Matt Rants, might actually do that a little bit here, might actually make another Matt Rants about it if you guys really want it, then you can comment below. GameStop also recently stopped taking high-end retro games that were like really, really high end, and decreasing their trade-in value so much that people wouldn't even want to bring them in. Probably because, I don't know, maybe they talked to one of their lawyers and the lawyers was like, we can get sued out the ass. A lawyer would say that legally. That's legal speak, by the way. I might have gone over some of your heads. You will get sued out the ass if it's found out that GameStop is selling repro Chrono Triggers, repro anything really, because they're counterfeit bootleg items. So I don't know, maybe they took that away, and maybe they're gonna make some other changes, something that Mueller is like, I don't really want to be a part of this. I hope, frankly, I do hope it's something like that and not something personal with him or his family. And everyone in his family is okay. He's doing fine. Again, don't know the guy, but I'm not gonna, just because he's running GameStop doesn't mean I want to freaking wish ill will against the dude. I don't freaking know him. But I do think that him leaving doesn't necessarily mean that they're in trouble. Now, the sales, if you're telling me, but that's part of the story, okay, then for that, yeah, GameStop's in trouble. I'll give you that. But GameStop has been in trouble for a while now, arguably. And frankly, I would like to mention, with the whole 100 stores closing thing. Even though it's technically not part of this, I know some people might bring it up in the comment section below and say, but yeah, it's writing on the wall. Well, what wall? The stores are closed. Hey, but anyway, I'm sorry. I'm an asshole. But the point is that when it comes to these stores that are closed, frankly, I would argue that it's good that they're closed. It's not good that there's jobs that are now, people were, let go and stuff like that. Although I would like to mention the amount of people that have told me that GameStop gives them shit hours. In a way, they didn't even have a job with GameStop. So GameStop employees, talk to me about that in the comments below. Former employees, current employees don't, you'll lose your job. But anyway, so when it comes to, the jobs, terrible if those jobs are gone. Yes. When it comes to the stores themselves, I don't know about you guys, but to me, it felt like GameStop's become like freaking Starbucks, where it's just like a GameStop across the street from a GameStop. And inside the GameStop, little mini GameStop. It's like a little tiny miniature GameStop, and you just have like, supermodel in there just screaming like, is this a GameStop for ants? And, it just had a little tiny GameStop, inside the GameStop, little tiny GameStop, cheaper real estate. But it's like, guys, really, just, stop it with all these GameStops. There's too many. And guess what? Clearly there were, because the market spoke. And sadly, hundreds, of GameStops were closed just last year. But again, I think that's more so of them being like gluttons in the market, right? Putting out too many GameStop stores versus them actually having super like big issues, if you will. Again, super big issues, law terms, big stuff there, accounting terms. Sorry that if if I'm using the big lingo here, but still, I don't know. I feel as if, and then this in no way is like a defense of GameStop, because I'm not a big fan of their practices. I'm really not a big fan of their practices. I'm not a big fan of, and when I say practices, you're like, what are you talking about? I'm sure anything you say will probably just prompt me saying yes, but stuff like, them cutting out, well, first off, I understand if you can't sell something, you can't give it to an employee necessarily. You can't incentivize the employees to try to not sell things, to bring them home. But cutting up discs, I know that they're new games, and so arguably you could say, well, there's, so many people preserving them. There's millions of them out there. But it still seems kind of scummy to me to cut up a disc. God knows what, because if they're cutting up discs, I know this is completely hypothetical, complete speculation. But what the fuck are they going to end up doing with retro carts when they want to get out of the business? Are they just going to cut those up too? Now, I'm not saying that they will, but it's one of those things where, like, I worry, about stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not, but the actual stuff that they are doing, I'm not a big fan of them cutting up discs, cutting up boxes, trying to, I understand they got to make some money, so I get that they want to make more money on used games, so that, but still, when you end up, like, you're not going to get me, or frankly, a lot of people, according to, what I've heard from a lot of people that I know and a lot of people online, you're not going to get customers coming into your store when the new game is 60 and the used game is like 65 or 55. No, that's not going to happen. Even if it's considered refurbished, like, oh no, it was brought back next day. Yeah, sorry. No, not going to happen. So I just got to say, when it comes to, is GameStop in trouble? Right, for these specific reasons, just because of CEO. I honestly think that maybe he just might not have been happy with the way GameStop was going. Not into the ground. Like, not where it's going like the Titanic hit the iceberg that is Amazon. Not necessarily. But I do think that there's just a good chance that if it really isn't quote unquote personal reasons, like a family illness or a personal illness or some kind of big emergency, there's just a good chance that he may have thought, oh, this is where the company is going, I'm on board. Then some things changed. I know he's a CEO, but there's also a board there to keep the CEO in check. So maybe he just, disagreed so vehemently that he just thought, you know what, I'm out. And if so, I mean, again, I don't know where GameStop is going. I don't know anything about, what GameStop can do to try to revitalize their business, because frankly, again, Amazon has them beat. When you have a company that, now Amazon's making profits, of course, but when they can go in the red for years and still survive due to the fact that they just can, even though GameStop isn't a mom and pop store by any means, still it puts their competition out of business when GameStop needs to make money. And Amazon for a bit is sitting there like, we really don't need to. So, it's rough. I think that, like I said earlier, way earlier, I think that GameStop will die by Amazon's hands. But I think it's one of those. It's kind of like a Marvel movie. You got to wait like 2 to 4 years to see it really happen. Like this is like we're not at the origin story for GameStop, but we're kind of at the point where like, all right, we gotta wait a little bit till the next movie, and then we'll see what happens in the GameStop versus Amazon Infinity War. But either way, I will admit this was shocking news. But either way, I will admit that this was kind of. But either way, I will admit this was shocking news. I think my first gut reaction, which is why sometimes with these Matt Rants, they might, I try to do them Monday and Thursday either way, but another reason why I like to do them is because I don't want them to feel like they're complete gut reactions where I'm just kind of screaming into a microphone, or I'm kind of just getting too into it to the point where, I don't know much about the situation, or the news just came out, so my immediate hot take is, oh yeah, GameStop's dead. All the GameStops, they're all closing down. The world's on fire. When really, if GameStops are going to go out, they're going to go out just because, like, this slow, gradual going out. Not this, 0 to 100, oh, we're doing just fine tomorrow. GameStops will close in North America. Bankruptcy. I don't think that's going to happen. Now, if it does happen tomorrow, shit, I was wrong. But I have a feeling that it's not going to happen anytime soon. However, I mean, if it does, well, I guess we know why the current, or now the former CEO left the company. But you know what? I want to hear what you guys think below. Do you guys think that this means that GameStop is in trouble? Do you maybe agree with me and think, oh, it's not for this reason, but for some other reasons, GameStop could be considered in trouble? Do you think this is, the nail in the coffin for GameStop? Do you even care? Like, do you even still shop at GameStop? Do you actually put money towards GameStop or, other retail distributors? Or do you just go completely online? Heck, do you even go away from Amazon and just go completely digital through other online stores? Please comment below about your experiences, both with GameStop. I mean, if you're a GameStop employee, former employee, hopefully by tomorrow you won't be a former employee. Please comment below. Would love to hear everything you have to say about this topic. But as of right now, I'm kind of closing the discussion myself. But I mean, of course, I'll talk to you guys in the comment section below. But I think I'm going to wrap this episode up. Not really much else to say other than, wow, he left. Mahler left. Hope everything's okay. All right, guys. So thank you all so much for listening in. Hope you liked this episode. And also would like to mention that if you are a subscriber, awesome. Good for you. You could also like the video. If you liked the video and you aren't a subscriber, hey, good for you. You could also subscribe. If you've done both, then you're awesome. If you haven't done either, you have the opportunity to become awesome. I mean, you're cool right now, but you have the opportunity to become awesome by liking and or subscribing. Now, you could also hit the dislike button. I would suggest you don't, but you know what? You can, and that's okay. I would suggest hitting the dislike button first and then hitting the like button after and just leaving it that way. That's just my suggestion, but I don't know. I might be a little bit biased. But anyway, thank you all so much. Love you guys. Take care. And tune in next time for another episode of Matt Rants. So, see ya.